Hi everybody, stuffing things back at it again, starting things off on the Manny pad as always. My apologies for showing you the same tricks all the time on the Manny pad, but it's one of my favorite things at this park. A pretty good backside 180 off the pad right there. Going into nose manuals, this nose manual was super slow, but I'm glad to still land it.
That was really good since I was going so slow.
For whatever reason, I feel like my manual progress has stalled out a little bit. I get a nice nollie front shove out here, which I haven't done a good clean one in a while. I was making some good progress on fakie manual and doing different things into manuals. I wish I could do more things out, but that's just not in the cards right now. I also wish that I could go into a manual and then pivot to the other one. I've sort of messed around with that off camera, but it doesn't really go anywhere, at least not yet. So here I'm trying to get that, I start from switch ollie position into fakie manual or switch nose, whatever we want to call it. I got a couple of them where I could get the balance a little bit, but I could never really lock it in. And if I did lock it in, then I couldn't hold the manual the whole way across. And this one is really weird. I did lock it in and then I was fighting to maintain it and I was really stable and then I lost it at the end. But we're going to take a little time out because I noticed up in the sky there were some bald eagles and two of them just doing circles up and around the skate park area, which is really unusual, especially for this time of year. Okay, back to the Manny pad, and I'm going to try to get up on the Manny pad from fakie. I did this a little while back, and today, kind of the same sort of situation. I did get up on the Manny pad a couple of times from fakie, which is really good because it's hard for me to do, but I still never locked into an actual manual from there. I haven't done that at all yet. It's really, really challenging. It's really hard for me to really keep my weight way back over the tail while I pop and while I get up on the manu pad. It's hard to trust that it's actually going to work out and that I'm not going to clip and then get pitched off. Right here, we're going to miss and launch the slowest torpedo you've ever seen. It barely nudges the camera just the tiniest bit. And finally, one more. As I was kind of losing my balance and trying to maintain control, I ended up doing a little ride-on grind, and that's something I should maybe play with one of these days from time to time, just because it is kind of fun. And speaking of grinds, let's go to the side of the Manny pad and try to do some grinds. Earlier, I got a 50-50, got a couple of 5-0s here, which is great because I'm not good at those, and this tiny Manny pad is a great place to practice those. And then I was going in fakie for the fakie 50, and I usually get the pivot out, which is fine. I like the trick, and it works really well on the Manny pad because the concrete is grippier, and that sort of promotes that spinning, pivoting motion for whatever reason. Then I wanted to try something I haven't done in ages. I went for a couple of tray flips. Now, they didn't go all that well, but they didn't go terribly either. And a couple of times I ended up getting a 3-shove and landed one of them actually pretty decent. And that's kind of crazy. I can get a good solid 3-shove with pop and everything, but I can't get a tray flip. That one at least landed upside down, so that's a little bit of progress. This one's a little closer, got to a primo almost, and this last one, the board goes through the motions, but I'm nowhere near it. But I haven't done tray flips in forever, so I'll just take what I can get. And then on this day, coming at the hip, I actually got 2 kick flips on the hip, which is pretty good. That last one there, not too bad, kind of clean, landed well anyway. Then I'm playing with the Manny pad again, and I've been toying with this idea of what if I could do something out of a 50-50, and I'm in a front side 50-50 position, and I was hoping that I might be able to move my feet around and then get a kick flip. Then finally here, I'm barely able to stay on. The challenge of doing that is to stay on the ledge and get your feet to move and then be able to pop off. And that was really hard, but I kind of got one there. Another day, another session. We are going to take a Colorado road trip. We're on Highway 9, and this section of Highway 9 is where they filmed that opening sequence of Christmas Vacation with the logging truck and everything, somewhere right in this stretch of highway. But we end up in Frisco, Colorado, and this is the Frisco skate park. There's this amazing flowy bowl area, but I'm not going to touch that because I want to do this little street area because it has elements that I really want to skate. This Manny pad ledge right here was one of the main reasons I wanted to come here at all. And early on, I got back-to-back 50-50s, a front side and a back side. And so I kind of knew, all right, this is the spot for me. I'm guessing this ledge is about 7 inches high. It feels like it's a tiny bit taller than my garage box at home, but that made me really comfy. I also like the corner of it. It's not too sharp and it's not too rounded off either, because I think you can go to the extreme on both of those. But this was a nice one that was holding me in just right, but also giving me really good slide. From this angle, you can see that it's also slightly curved, and that made it really, really fun. And already I'm going after some crooks on it, and with the way the ledge was feeling and I was locking in, I was feeling like, okay, we're gonna do some stuff on this today for sure. So I got a bunch of them where they would pivot out, and eventually I started going for it where I tried to go straight off the end and eliminate that pivot. If I did pivot, I was trying to get a fakie flip afterwards to get a little line. Never did get the fakie flip. But here's one of the first ones where I try to go all the way to the end and come out regular. That's the hardest way for me to get out of a crook, is to come out regular. But I was getting kind of close, and the balance and everything was feeling really good, and I love the height of this ledge, so I was definitely going to go for it on this day. And I think the trick to getting out regular is keeping all of that weight on that heel and not letting it roll the board off the end of the ledge. And look out for torpedo launch number 2. But finally, I'm rewarded with, I think, the best crook I've ever done. I absolutely love this grind. There's something so special about a crook and getting it to grind and slide like that. If you're interested in a video focusing on the crook and maybe even a tutorial, let me know in the comments. All right, now I'm going to come at it from the other direction, because since it isn't that big of a ledge, I figured I need to try the switch crook here, because I know I can do it at home. I don't even have to go fast. I'm not really that good at them yet, but I can get them every once in a while. That was a goofy fall. I almost had it, and my toe caught the corner of the box right over there, and then that made me fall. And then I fell back this way. Had a couple good falls this day, but nothing that like hurt me or anything. This one slips out and ends up going to a little bit of a nose slide. And then finally, I think I lock into what I think was the better crook that I did that day from the switch side. And since I'm coming at it from that side, let's go for the nollie tail. Nollie tails are so much fun. And this ledge really seemed to fit. So this one right here, I think, is the best nollie tail I've ever done. Got a good slide out of it. I tried flipping it and coming at it from the other direction to go for nollie back tail, but for some reason the curve of the ledge really threw me off coming at it this way. I can do these in my garage, but when the ledge is curved, I was all sketched out and I could not get one of these to lock in. And another good fall. All right, so after all of that, I'm going to go back to some stuff that is sort of easier to me, some 50-50s. Got a nice clean front side 50 there. I'm going to come at it from the other side again, and I think this time we're going fakie, because fakie 50 has really been fun for me. And I think that was first or second try that I got fakie 50 and still came out staying fakie. That was really great. Then I'm going to start messing around with something out, and I tried this in my garage, and I never really got it that clean. But fakie frontside 50 with, I'm going to call it a switch front shove out. I call it that just because I feel like that's the motion that my foot is doing. It's the best way for me to describe it. Finally got one that's decently clean.
Yeah, we take that.
Then I wanted to just ollie up onto the Manny pad to maybe see if I could do a manual, but then I quickly decided that wasn't in the cards since I splattered myself. I did come back to do the ollie so that wouldn't defeat me, but then I kind of thought, maybe it's not a manual kind of day. So then I went over to this bigger curved ledge, and I think it's about 12 inches high, and got one first try. Since that worked, I wanted to up the speed a little bit and maybe hit it with just the right balance, see if I could get a nice long 50-50 out of it. I've done this before on another curved ledge that's really similar shape that I really like, but in a totally different place. But they're a lot of fun. In situations like this, I love going for long grinds.
That one was rad, and I didn't think I would actually be able to take it to the end of the ledge. I had to bail early because of my camera. Now I gotta see if I can do the whole thing.
Okay, so I'm going to adjust where my camera's sitting and come at it and see if I can get it all the way off the end of the ledge. The long grinds were feeling really good, but I just couldn't seem to carry the momentum off the end. I had probably needed a touch more speed or maybe a little bit better balance or some combination of both. I did not end up getting it the way I wanted to, but the first one where I had to dodge the camera was pretty good, so I decided I would take that. Now I'm going to come at it from the other side and go backside 50-50. These, when they lock in, feel so good. And that early try there, even though I didn't ride away from it, locked in nice, so I was kind of like, I think I can do this. Getting the balance just right is probably the hardest part, especially on a curve. Here, we're going surfing, looking like I'm doing a hang 10 on a surfboard because my balance was off, but that's okay. This one gets a little bit better. I get that balance back closer to the middle, even though it's a little squirrely, and I actually do come out clean, so we're improving little bits at a time. This one has slightly better balance and actually a 180 out. I have to pivot out, but that's okay. And finally, I'm going to get one that goes the distance, at least almost completely. I do have to turn and pivot out a little bit.
I think I got all of it.
Then, since I know I can get up there, I decided to try to go for a crook, and I never got a single one. I don't know what it is about taking crooks up to something higher. I just don't seem to have it in me, at least not lately. So I'm going to have to work on these more in the future and figure out what is the difference between a 6 or 7 inch ledge and a 12-inch ledge and why I can't get my crooks to go up onto something higher. But then I'm going to wrap things up by being brave. There's this other little ledge, kind of a hubba, but it's not that big. And I was thinking, you know what? That's a good height. I know I can lock in a 50-50 on this, and I don't think it's too big a drop for these old knees that have been killing me lately. So I'm going to go for it. And it took a bunch of tries, but I'm glad I persevered because I did get it a few times, and I'm glad I kind of overcame that idea of this is a little bit taller, a little bit bigger. Is this something I should do? Yeah, it's something I can handle, but you know, that mental game of trying something a little bit higher and bigger is always a weird thing for me. After I landed a couple of these, I tried to do a kick flip. I got a 1.5 flip there. I don't know why those keep happening, but I never ended up getting the kickflip in a line, but I am glad to get a couple of 50s off this ledge, even if that back truck is locking in really weird on the heel side wheel. But anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.